If you're in your 30s and 40s and you want to enjoy your older years, watch this video to know why you should start taking action right now. Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Abosi. Welcome to this video. In this video, I'm talking about something that I think is really very important that I don't think is talked about enough, and something that a lot of people either do not know or just overlook, and that is what the importance of your 30s and your 40s. If you're in the age range of 30s to 40s, the importance of those 2 decades in your life and in your health. And why I think this is important, because this is a period of life where it's generally very overlooked as regards to health for most of us, because in our lives there are so many things going on in our lives at that particular period. For many people, your 30s and your 40s are probably one of the busiest periods in your life. You are running after different things, you are chasing money, you are chasing work, you are chasing your career, more likely have kids, you are taking care of kids. Some may have old parents or uncles or aunts, family members they are taking care of. And it basically makes it a very busy period in your life, because there's so many things you're doing simultaneously. Going this way, you're going that way, you're going this way. And so it becomes very easy to forget about the most important person in the equation, which is yourself. Because if you are not there to do those things you need to do, then those things will not be able to get done. And so, but while we are so busy occupied chasing all these things, it becomes very difficult for us to look after our own selves. And that's a mistake. Like I said, if you are not able to take care of yourself because you are chasing other things or because you're taking care of other things, and then you break down or you fall ill, then it becomes counterproductive to whatever you are trying to do in the first place. And so I think it's important that really we should take care of our health. Very important. I made this video to be a reminder both for myself and for every other person, because sometimes even for me as a doctor, we get so busy, carried away with work and taking care of so many other people that we forget to take care of ourselves. And so this is a reminder both for myself and other doctors, and more importantly, for every one of us in that age range, because everybody tends to have a lot in their lives going on at that particular point in time. Like I've said before, taking care of so many things. So it's easy to forget to take care of yourself. And so this video is a reminder to all of us that you need to pause amidst the hustle and bustle of life. Pause and then look at how your life is going. Look at the things that are going right and look at the things that are going wrong, so that things that are not going right, you can right them and then do the right things so that problems don't develop later on. And that's the entire point of this video. Okay, so why particularly in your 30s and 40s? Well, this is because that's an important period of your life for your health. And why is that? Because it's a very critical period. Because it's a transition period. Transition period is like it's a stepping stone period between your youth, when you are really very young and you're almost invincible, and then your older years, where the chronic disease of ill health that tend to appear in other people start coming up, basically. So what you do in that transition period becomes very important, because it sets the stage for how your older years are going to be. Now, your younger years, I mean, your teens and your 20s, most people, this generally speaking, those people are generally almost invincible in those younger years. You can do so many things. You can jump up and down, do so many things, good and bad, and then there won't be much of an effect on your body, because your body is still basically very young, very unused. So you can do so many things. You can party all night, go to work the following day, or go to school the following day, go work crowd school, and then go and party again the following night, and then continue to the following day again, and then their body feels no effect about it, because things are basically young. Now, other people, they can drink alcohol, drink loads of it, and then not have any subsequent problems, because their bodies are still basically very young and noble. You can think of it like a car. I usually use an example of a car. You know, when you buy a brand new car, the car is, everything is spick and span. So car can take a lot of abuse in the early years. So even if you're not maintaining it properly, I mean, the car will still be running on fine unless you do something catastrophic to it. But if you are not just doing some of the basic maintenance you should be doing, if you are not changing engine oil when you should at the right time, or you are not changing a few things when you should, or changing some particular things when you should, the car will still run fine, because it's still a new car. So a lot of his systems are still intact. But as you progress over the years and the car starts getting old, the effects of all those bad behaviors, of effect of all those poor maintenance begins to show themselves on the car. And then the car starts running down gradually because it wasn't properly maintained over the years. Do you understand? So that's basically what happens in the human body as well. And so if you don't take care of the car, by the time the car starts getting old, the lifespan of the car tends to be shorter than a car that was well maintained. So that's the basic idea. And this same thing applies to us as human beings as well and to our bodies. When we are young in our teens, our bodies, we can do a lot. We can do, we are literally invincible. Invincible means you can almost indestructible. You can do anything you can want to do, enjoy yourselves and all that, and not have any significant or not have major problems. But by the time in older years, the effects of some of those actions we've been taking, they start building up in the body and they start building up over time, and then they start manifesting. And for those that are not careful, you start seeing the effects of those things in your later years. And so the point of this video is that if you're in your 30s and 40s, that period is an important stepping stone between those periods where you can do anything you want to without consequences, quote unquote, and your older years where the effects of those previous years start manifesting. And so they represent a point where if you notice those periods, if you take stock of your life and realize that you're not going in the direction where you should be going, they are an important time where you can change direction and then avoid some of those chronic illnesses, some of those major illnesses that come up in old age. You can avoid them from coming up, basically. So that's the importance of those years. And a lot of people don't realize this because they just live their lives just going on, just going through their teens and 20s, the same bad habits that they've been doing back then. They just continue it into their 30s and 40s, believing they are literally still invincible. And then by the time the effect of those things start kicking in, it's already too late to backtrack. So the point is, if you notice it at that time, you can take measures to stop those bad habits or those bad actions or those actions that are not good enough, and then set yourself on the right path. And the reason is, all those major chronic illnesses of old age, a lot of the times, they don't just jump out of the blues from nowhere. They gradually build up in the body over time. They don't just appear. They are probably gradually building up over time, undetected, or the risk factor, even if it's not them alone, the risk factors for them are gradually building up in the body and building up. And their effects are compounding in the body gradually, but they are not noticed. So by the time they eventually manifest, it's too late. But if someone noticed at the point earlier on that the actions they are taking are building up towards a particular outcome, and then you take measures to avoid that outcome, then some of those diseases, they can actually be prevented or they can be stopped. Or even if they cannot be completely prevented, they can be slowed down and pushed further down so that before they are manifesting, some that would have manifested maybe at the age of 50, they now be manifesting at the age of 55, 60. And even at then, there's a good chance it may be milder than it would have been if you were not taking those steps you were taking, if you were going full head on at it. Another way to look at it is like a car driving towards a rock. Okay, so there's a car that was driving on the road headed directly towards a rock. If the driver realizes on time that he's headed directly towards a rock, he can change direction and then before getting to a rock and then avoid hitting the rock. Or if he cannot completely avoid hitting the rock, at least he can slow down and reduce the impact with which he hits the rock. So that worst case may just be just the fender or the bumper that just hits the rock a bit. Rather, in contrast to if you were going full force towards the rock and then just without knowing that there's a rock in front and then just hits it with all this force. So that's the same analogy. That's the same analogy with illnesses in the body, a lot of chronic illnesses in the body. Sometimes the habits or the things we do tend to build up towards these things. If we realize it on time and change direction, may be able to avoid hitting the rock completely and avoid getting those illnesses, or be able to slow down and then reduce the impact or severity of those illnesses. And when are these things likely to come? Because they're not so common in your teens, because everybody is relatively invincible by that time. They start popping up usually for a lot of people in their 40s, 50s, for most people. And so those years between your 30s and 40s represent the time where you can change direction and change course from any suboptimal activities you've been doing, basically, for your health. And if you are now in a place where healthcare is not so good, or healthcare is very expensive, or not readily accessible, it becomes even more important for you to take care of your own health as much as possible. Because, I mean, you don't want to have anything go wrong with your health as much as possible. So it becomes even more imperative that you start taking care of your health where you can. And so that's why I'm making this video, so that it can be a reminder to all of us to stop amidst the hustle and bustle of life. Stop, take a look at where your life is going, and then see what are the changes you can do to improve your life and to make your life better. And meanwhile, I know some people will say that, okay, I mean, it's not doing these things are not a guarantee that you will not have illnesses. Yes, that's true. It's not a guarantee, because, I mean, some illnesses can still pop up whether you do these things or you don't do these things. But however, one thing I'm sure of is that the more of these things you do, the more you take deliberate steps to look after your health, the higher your chances of having a smoother, healthier older years. There's no doubt about that. The way I look at it is like someone crossing a road, a busy road, okay, with your eyes open versus with your eyes closed. So you could decide to cross the road with your eyes open and then look right and look left, look right, look left before you cross the road to be sure that there is no oncoming cars. And then you cross. Or you could decide to just stay on one side of the road, close your eyes, and then cross the road to the other side. In both situations, you could actually get to the other side of the road without being hit by a car. And both of them can also be hit by a car, even whether you've looked out right or you've not looked. Sometimes you can still get hit by a car. But you know which of them is much more likely to get hit by a car and which is less likely to get hit by a car. And you know which one you would rather be from your everyday experience. So it's the same thing. Even though there are some illnesses that can still come up in old age despite having taken precautions, yeah, there's no guarantee about that, see, for sure. But you know that your chances of having a much better life in your older years are much better if you've avoided some of the things that tend to cause problems in old age. So even me that used to be quite laid back in the days in the university and my teens, I'm quite carefree, quote unquote. I've started taking my health much more seriously because I've realized the importance of health. And then why is this? Well, two main reasons. One, from my experience as a doctor over the years, I've come to realize that living in old age, going in and out of hospitals due to ill health is not fun. No matter how much money you have, no matter what other things you have going on for you, if you have major ill health in your old age or in your older years, not even in your old age, once you have major ill health, especially in your older years, then life is not so much fun. You're going in and out of hospital every day, needle pricks up and down for tests and different things and all that. It's just not fun. And I've observed that firsthand. And so if there are any things I can do and any other person can do to minimize the chance of that happening in their old age, I mean, I'm all for it. I'm all for it, basically. And also because I've realized that health in particular is very important. It's one of the most important things in life. But a lot of us will not realize it. If you won't know until you've either lost it yourself. I mean, what I mean lost, I mean major illness, not malaria and all those kind of minor illness or cough and cold. No. If you've had major illness or you've had someone close to you that has lost health significantly or had a major illness or a close shave with death, then you would realize that, I think health probably stands above almost every other thing. And some people used to say health is wealth. Yes, health is wealth, but I've come to realize that even beyond health being wealth, health is actually more than wealth. Yes, it's a case of if you know, you know. Because if you've seen those that despite the amount of wealth you have, if your health is lost, if you've been in close interaction, you would realize that, there is no, person would know which one to choose. There's no basis for comparison. Of course, wealth will give you a fantastic quality of life, even in ill health, and you can afford the best of things. So I'm not saying wealth is not good. Wealth is fantastic, but health, you don't want to play with things that have to do with health. That's what I've come to realize. Initially, I never used to realize these things, but back in the day when in my teens and early years, but with time and with experience working in medicine, I'll tell you one thing. If there's whatever you can do to safeguard your health, please do it. And like I've said before, the point of this video is to tell you that if you're in your 30s and your 40s, this is the best time to start taking action on it if you've not been taking action on it before. And so, the major point of this video is that even though in your 30s and 40s, they are some of your busiest years in life, with family, children, chasing work, chasing other things, as much as you are so occupied with other things, don't forget to take care of your health. It's your later years will thank you for the decisions you start making now. Yeah, so what are those right things you need to be doing now in your 30s and 40s to safeguard or to improve the chances of your older years being smoother and nicer? So for those things, if I'm to start talking about them in this video is going to get too long. I think it's already long enough already because YouTube doesn't allow me, at the moment, YouTube doesn't allow me to upload a video that is longer than 15 minutes. And so if I start talking about them, the video is going to get longer than 15 minutes. And so I won't be able to upload the video. So I'll create a separate video for it. And then I'll link to it in the description below. You can go check out that video and learn the things you need to start doing now, once from your 30s and 40s, to help you have a smoother old age. So that's about it. So for now, enjoy yourselves. Remember not to get so carried away by the hustle and bustle of life to not take care of yourself, because you are very important, both to yourself and to your family and to your loved ones. So you are very important to those around you. And so you need to take care of yourself. Don't get carried away by the bustle of life and chasing so many things that you forget to take care of yourself. You can share this video to anybody you know that it's in your 30s and 40s that I think will benefit from this video, especially the busy ones that are too busy to remember to take care of themselves. Do them a favor and send them this video so that they can advise themselves and then take care of themselves appropriately, because in the long run, their health is most important. And so it's a wrap. That's about that. If you learned anything from this video, you can like it, you can share it, send it to someone that you think needs it, basically. And if you have questions or things you want to clarify, feel free to let me know in the comment section. I can address some of them while I can. All right, so have a nice day and enjoy yourselves and take care of yourselves. Good. Cheers.